the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin has recently had an exceptionally bullish weekly candle close, confirming the formation of a high time frame bullish reversal. Let's dive into the charts today to talk about the recent and upcoming developments in the crypto space, including how they are and how they'll continue to shape up the macro charts. We'll also finish off this video by doing a quick short time frame analysis. Before we dive into all that though, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trades with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so diving right into the charts here, let's go ahead and give you guys some context about what's been going on with Bitcoin in the last couple of days, weeks, and even months. So for those of you guys who have been following along, you would know that we've been traveling in a massive descending channel structure in the last 6-month period, essentially characterized by a consistent time frame of downtrending price action driven by a various number of factors. We've had economic, industry specific, and social. So those economic factors being, for example, interest rate cuts, right? Moving into 2024, we have been unsuccessfully pricing in rate cuts this entire time. We haven't seen them yet. Industry specific being stuff like the ETF news that we had earlier on that drove the price all the way up to $73,000. Mt. Gox and Germany selling in this massive liquidation event over here, where Bitcoin dropped from $65,000 to $49,000 within a 1-week period, which was absolutely huge, and various social factors, and mainly that being the dropping interest in crypto overall as it performs below benchmarks such as S&P 500, and that is specifically more in that last 2 to 3 month period. So moving into our more recent segment of price action over here, ever since this massive liquidation event where Bitcoin dropped below the midline of our massive channel over here, we have been seeing a massive amount of indecision and I guess lack of strength in crypto overall and Bitcoin as well. If we take a look at the weekly chart, for example, we can see that the prior 2 weeks candle closes were very, very indecisive. We had 2 spinning tops where neither the bulls nor the bears were able to take control, resulting in very, very little fluctuation in terms of those actual weekly candle closes themselves. So very little decisions or decision making, I guess, about the future trajectory of Bitcoin. Over the last couple of days, however, we saw a massive increase in strength. On Friday, for those of you guys in America, or Saturday for those of us in Australia, we had some very, very bullish news come out. So on that day, we had Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, come out and essentially confirm that interest rates were coming in September as a result of the effect that these prolonged high interest rates have had on the job market in America. So we saw a massive increase in unemployment. If you guys were there for that data, right, there was a lot of speculation about whether or not we were going to get rate cuts in September, and that is essentially what drove Bitcoin to recover so quickly after this recent flash and move into this kind of segment of price action over here. If you guys were there for that, you would remember that it was all based on the speculation that we were going to get rate cuts in September. So now that has been confirmed, or essentially confirmed. Obviously, we have to wait. But now the big question is whether or not those rate cuts are going to be a 25 basis point or a 50 basis point rate cut. But the fact that they have stopped being so coy about the potential for a rate cut this year is a very, very good thing. And so the market reacted that way, and we saw a massive push above key resistances, particularly that midline resistance, that blue dotted trend line, to drive Bitcoin to consolidate where it currently is right now within the $63,000 to $64,000 period. So let's go ahead and dive into our analysis, guys. Let's start off with our recent weekly candle close and what it means, the rest of the macro charts, and then finish off with our short time frame analysis. Before we jump into our analysis though, guys, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor Bitunix, where you can get 15% off all of your trading fees and up to $5,500 in sign-up rewards when you create your free account using the link down in my description box. Bitunix is an emerging cryptocurrency exchange committed to providing you with a secure, convenient, and highly functional trading and investment platform. Available across all countries as a non-KYC exchange, get global access to over 150 trading pairs with minimal fees on both spot and futures contracts. Join today to get $5,500 in sign-up rewards and get 15% off all of your trading fees by signing up using the link in my bio or by using the code 1GG3 when you create your account. Alrighty guys, so taking a look at our weekly chart for our analysis now, you guys already know that we've had 2 very indecisive candle closes in the last 2 weeks, 2 spinning top candles. So no one knows, we have no mass consensus of whether or not Bitcoin is going to go in a massively bullish trajectory or a bearish trajectory, right? And those kind of candle formations on their own aren't necessarily bullish or bearish, right? Because they do represent indecision, right? So it has I guess equal opportunity for both trajectories. But when we have a spinning top candle formation following a massive, I guess, move, right? For example, this massive bearish week that we had, huge red candle, what it can signal to us is the potential for a bullish reversal, but we do need confirmation from the weekly candle close that follows the spinning top. So over here, we can see that our most recent weekly candle close has been exceptionally bullish. We've seen a massive green candle close that has engulfed the prior red spinning top formation here, and therefore confirming our macro bullish reversal. So essentially, these weekly charts are developing in a way that is very, very suggestive of a high time frame bullish continuation here. So, naturally taking a look at this price action, obviously we might see some short time frame fluctuations, which we'll go over when we go into the short time frame segment of this video. But in terms of the high time frame and what we can expect over the next couple of weeks, it is looking very suggestive of a move towards this range high level of resistance in comparison to this range low over here. We've seen a very, very strong and confident shift in market sentiment here. So before we dive into the short time frame, I do really quickly want to cover one more macro chart, and that is the 3-day candle close and some developments that we've had over here. So I spoke about the 3-day chart in the Gaussian channel, I think in my last video, and essentially what we were looking for in this most recent 3-day candle close was a close above the midline of our Gaussian channel over here, which has historically acted as a level of really strong resistance, and above it acted as a great level of support to facilitate high time frame bullish continuation to first of all test the top of the Gaussian channel and continue on in a structural move outwards, right? So from what we can see here in that most recent retest of the midline over here and that breakout in July, we saw a move above the midline of that Gaussian channel and move right up to the top there of the Gaussian channel, and to test our structural resistance here as marked out by that descending channel that we've been in for the last 6 months. If we take a look historically again, we can see that over here we saw a flip above the midline of the channel, and then that facilitated, upon testing as resistance, a high time frame bullish continuation, which was lost after we formed, I think you guys might have remembered this price action, a head and shoulders pattern on the high time frame charts, leading to a breakdown below the midline over here, which again acted as another level of resistance until we finally broke above it, again facilitating a high time frame bullish continuation. So the fact that we've broken above it over here, we've managed to get that 3-day candle close, is a very, very good sign, guys. Very suggestive of high time frame bullish trajectories, which again, just like the weekly chart shows us. And if we take a look at one last indicator, the 200-day moving average on the daily, we have once again recovered above that really, really key level that we needed to move above to signal a macro bullish trajectory, a macro bullish uptrend. So these are very, very good signs, guys. The high time frame charts are very suggestive of a move up to this range high here at $68,000 to $70,000. Now, it's really interesting seeing all these developments in price action, particularly as we approach that next period where we do have a lot of economic data and we do have the actual federal interest rate decision coming out, right? If we take a look at trading economics, the first 2 weeks of September are chock-a-block with economic data. We've got jobless data, unemployment rate, CPI, PPI data, and then on the 18th of September, we have the federal interest rate meeting. So while Bitcoin does look very, very good here, a lot of it is hinging on those upcoming interest rate decisions and whether or not we do get a 25 or a 50 basis point cut. So I think a lot of this bullish price action is hinging on a 50 basis point cut. So be prepared to, if we do see a 25 basis point cut, a short time frame rejection there, that takes us to potentially retest key levels of support there, including that Gaussian channel midline, the midline of our macro structure, the 200-day moving average, all those kind of key levels that suggest a macro shift in a either massive bullish or bearish sentiment on the high time frame. So that's everything that I wanted to really mention about the high time frame and the macro charts. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about the short time frame and the potential for a retracement or correction here and what that might look like. Alrighty guys, so diving into the 4-hour charts. Now the short time frame is obviously a little bit less cut and dry as the higher time frame charts are. There is a little bit more chop here. And as Bitcoin approaches this next level of short time frame resistance between 63.5 to 64.6, we are in a little bit of a chop zone. We can see a little bit of indecision there. And over the last 2 weeks, Bitcoin has been pretty unable to either break down from its sell side liquidity level here at 63.5 or break above the buy side liquidity at the top there at 64.9. So that really is the key levels to be looking out for, those two key levels, the black lines here, in terms of whether or not we're going to see an immediate short time frame bullish continuation or potentially see a short time frame retracement. So the bullish continuation scenario is a little bit more simple. It's pretty easy to identify because, 64,000, this level here, is pretty much the last remaining key level of resistance here that we have on both the short time frame and the daily chart. So breaking above that level there on the short time frame after getting these daily candle closes above our key bullish trigger at $64,000 tells us that we are very likely then to see a move up to retest the range high of our massive channel of resistance and, not an immediate, but a pretty short time frame move all the way up to at least 68,300, the base of that next high time frame liquidity zone there at the top. The bearish case scenario, however, characterized first of all by a 4-hour candle close below our sell side liquidity point here, is going to look a little bit different. So that's going to first of all take us down to retrace our most local level of support down here at the base as well of our next volume gap at the midline of our macro channel, right? That huge descending channel that we've been developing. We will go on to retest our locally established support there at that dotted blue trend line. So that level of support sits between 61,200, you guys can see that red line there, and 61,800. You can also map it out using the liquidity swings indicator by these three rejections over here. So that's our next local level of support, and we can see that it also coincides perfectly with our short time frame uptrend. So even if Bitcoin does end up having a very small time frame retracement to these lower levels over here, we are still on the short time frame in a general uptrend, and above the uptrend we can expect a bullish continuation, right? And we're above support, so there is a strong scenario there where we do end up seeing a bounce after that small retracement. However, if we do end up losing our short time frame uptrend and falling below the midline level of support that we have established here, that is when things start to become murky on both the shorter time frame and the higher time frame charts, because we've seen a dip below those key levels that we just spoke about on those micro charts. We've dipped below the midline, the dotted trend line over here. We've dipped below the 200-day moving average, our bull market uptrend. And we've also dipped below the midline of our Gaussian channel as well, guys, at 62,400. So that is when things start to look a little bit murky. And if we manage to stay below those levels and, exist, or I guess if Bitcoin continues to consolidate just above this level of support here for an extended period of time, we will start to see that move reflected on these higher time frame charts. So that next level of support that we have below that midline is all the way down here at $58.3 to $57.5 thousand. I think we do have a couple levels of smaller time frame support, and we can see that on the volume profile here. We might see a retracement to these prior high levels on our short time frame uptrend here around 59,000, but either way that is still below those key high time frame levels that we're looking to hold above. If we zoom in just a little bit further into the hourly chart, we can see that the potential for a short time frame correction is actually quite high here. It doesn't look like Bitcoin is holding very well above that little level of support that we've established here at 63,500. And particularly if we take a look at RSI as well, we can see bearish divergence here from these two peaks. So we have this peak very slightly higher than the first, with falling momentum there, falling buying pressure. And as we hold along this level over here at 63,500, we can see these continued dips on the RSI. So we have an increase in selling pressure here, which so far we have seen an absorption for. So that is a sign of short time frame strength, like as in, the buyers are stepping in to absorb that selling pressure. But again, they are stepping in with less and less buying pressure each time. So we've seen that bearish divergence there. So it's quite likely then that, moving back to the 4-hour time frame, for example, we go and see a retracement of this uptrend we have here developing on the shorter time frame RSI on that 4 hour time frame. Sorry, let me get rid of some of these drawings. And potentially a move to test this little base there, that base of the uptrend, and that might coincide with a test of our local support there and falling below that uptrend. That's when we start to see a little bit more suggestion of potentially a loss of these midline levels. But again, strong levels of resistance then coincide to become very strong levels of support as well. So the loss of these levels doesn't really look entirely likely unless we get some sort of exceptionally bearish news that pushes the market very rapidly downwards. Alrighty guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trades with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And if you are a trader, sign up down below to Bitunix to get 15% off all of your trading fees and up to $5,500 US in sign up rewards. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!